What we hope you will take away from this is the importance of understanding your story, putting it into context, understanding where you came from, where you are now, and where you are going. And though this may seem like a purely narrative pursuit, our biology, evolution, and neural networking each play an important role. The way our brains take in and process information is integral to how we interpret, react to, and understand a situation, one that is happening now or one that happened in the past. This spiral is a representation of just how complex our brains are, an enlarging spiral of learning and memories. As our bodies and brains learn, they are inextricably connected. Bodily experiences lay down memories, and we are constantly reevaluating who we are, and where we're going. The human brain is the most evolved and advanced brain that we know of. No other animals have the capacity for such sophisticated understanding. There are many parts of the brain, but for the purpose of this course, we are going to talk about the brain in terms of 3 parts. These are the reptilian brain, the limbic system, and the prefrontal cortex. The reptilian part of our brain is the most primitive, meaning that it has been present for millions and millions of years. The reptilian brain consists of the brainstem and the hypothalamus. In the human brain, the hypothalamus sits above the pituitary gland and tells it how to inform the body. Neural responses to what's happening both inside and outside the body are funneled to the hypothalamus, which organizes basic response patterns that include muscular, emotional, and hormonal activity. The hypothalamus causes secretion of hormones into the bloodstream, directly from the posterior lobe of the pituitary and indirectly from the anterior pituitary. The hormones act on all cells in the body that have the appropriate receiving receptors to cause tissue activity to meet the body's demands at any particular moment. The hypothalamus also organizes the activity of the automatic nervous system that controls heart rate, blood pressure, gut activity, and breathing. It changes the activity of all these appropriately to meet current demand by acting on the brainstem, or reptilian brain. Finally, the hypothalamus organizes behavioral responses to challenges through regulating the brainstem's control of behaviors. The reptilian part of the brain is what causes us to have flight or fight response. When confronted with a threatening situation, the reptilian brain perceives danger and either causes us to flee or fight. It allows us to stay singularly focused on the threat at hand and act appropriately. What is cool about the reptilian brain is that in stressful and threatening situations, it is able to take over and override the other systems in our brain that would otherwise distract us. For example, if you are hiking and encounter a bear, it is counteradaptive to stand there and think about all that could happen to you if the bear attacks you, the repercussions on your family and friends that getting eaten by a bear would have, and so forth. By the time you had considered all these things, you would probably have been eaten. To prevent this from happening, the reptilian brain kicks in, allowing you to face the immediate danger at hand. This is one of the reasons that you are so well trained in the military, forced to practice tasks over and over again, so that when you are in a life or death situation, you don't have to think at all, you just react. So though these parts of the brain interacting are essential for our existence, it's the brainstem which allows our body to communicate with our brain. All of the information from neural sensations generated in the body pass through the brainstem, allowing us to interpret and navigate our environment. The brainstem also regulates things such as our blood pressure, heart rate, and breathing. What is shown here are the long, narrow afferent cell groups of the nucleus of the tractus solitarius, and the fatter cell groups, the parabrachial nuclei, that can do a lot of integration at this level, together with the primary sensory nucleus of the eye, the superior colliculus. Is this what allows us to have the following reaction described below? The brainstem integration, yes. So when you touch something that's hot, etc., signals are sent to the brain, It recognizes that it's hot and could hurt us, and we learn that we had better not touch the stove again when it's turned on again. All vertebrates, as in everything with a backbone, have a brainstem, and they all have this basic level of emotional processing capacity. But in humans, this information is also fed up to the upper brain levels for more complex and refined processing. We humans have the great advantage of a great storehouse of learning and memory that we use to determine our appropriate responses to what is happening now. For instance, different people will have different responses to the same visual stimulus. In this case, the stimulus is the vision of a lighted cave. The person on the left, who has fine and exciting memories of spelunking in caves in the South Dakota National Park System, responds to the picture of the cave with eagerness to go and explore it. The person on the right, who has been to Afghanistan and cleared caves occupied by the Taliban, may appropriately dislike the notion of going to visit the cave in that picture. The last time he was in a cave was a time of great danger for him and his comrades.